Welcome to the Bishop Strickland Hour. My name is Terry Barber. I'm with Virgin Most Powerful Radio, and I have the honor to share the gospel with the bishop through the Catechism of the Catholic Church and through the tweets that he sends. It's all about saving souls and giving the truth out that the gospel has given us in the perennial teachings of the church. Bishop Strickland, I can tell you're a little under the weather, and thanks for still swinging the bat for Jesus, even if you're sick.
Thanks, Terry.
Bishop Strickland sent a tweet out about his feast, and you said the story of St. John of the Cross is a stark reminder of Jesus' words, "Anyone who wishes to be my disciple must take up his cross and follow me." St. John bore multiple crosses through his life, but he achieved sainthood because he bore them for the Lord. Let's do the same. See, there are models. Bishop Strickland, before you make a comment, I just want you to know that I read this story, how St. John of the Cross was just kind of like in our own time. He was concerned about his own order, that they were a little too progressive. And so he was trying to reform the order. And I didn't realize, maybe you knew this, I didn't know it until today. Because, you do research and you're like, wow, this is great about our faith. I'm still learning. He was in the Jesuits for at a point of time in his life and then left the Jesuit order to become a Carmelite. And then Teresa of Avila met up with him and said, hey, that's the way he said it. He said, hey, I need you to help me reform the men. I'll reform the women. And he told St. Teresa of Avila, hey, wait a minute. I'm going to the Carthusians. And I didn't know that. The Carthusians are one of the toughest orders in the church. I have former employees of mine who are Carthusian monks. And believe me, when I saw their schedule, they're tough dudes. So St. Teresa of Avila convinced them, don't become a Carthusian, be a Carmelite, and let's reform the order. Well, my goodness, they got so mad at him, they put him in jail for 9 months, and they used to beat him with a whip. And my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he escaped his prison. And some people have identified lay people undermine and getting him out of jail. And I'm going to make a joke. Are you ready? Bishop Strickland, if they throw you in jail, I'll do my best to get you out of jail. All right, go ahead. Tell me about John of the Cross. I had to share that.
Thanks, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the reason I tweeted that, it just struck me that he was born with a cross.
Yeah.
He was born into poverty.
That's right.
Jesus didn't say, if you want to be my disciple, you might want to take up your cross. He said, you must.
Amen.
And we tend to, just as a culture and even as Catholics, we want to leave the cross out of the picture. Certainly, we want everlasting life with God, and I think part of the mystery, and St. John is a great mystic and doctor of the church.
Yeah.
His writings are beautiful in that flow from his own embracing the cross. And I guess that to me is the main lesson, sort of the foundational lesson that we need to learn. What St. John of the Cross reminds us is that we are all going to have crosses. We don't need to necessarily, sure, we should do penance. We should choose, the small things that we can do to remind ourselves that the material things in this world and all the things that this world offers us doesn't really feed us. Yeah. That's what penance and carrying our cross is about. But I think the beauty of St. John of the Cross is that he had crosses that he didn't choose. He didn't say, hey, throw me in prison. But as he bore those crosses, he embraced it to be drawn closer to the Lord and ends up a saint and doctor of the church. That's what we're all called to do, is whatever crosses come our way. And frankly, as two men, in one bishop, a layman, in this time,
yeah.
But because we speak the truth, there are crosses to bear with that. Yeah. There's the ways that you're mocked or misunderstood or told that you're just a, caught up in the dark things or whatever people want to say. And all of that, St. John of the Cross, and I'm sure he does the same for you, but it strengthens me
Oh, yeah.
to just be reminded that, you know, what he knew what it was really about. And we've also, as just before today, this week, we celebrated Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yes.
And that comes to mind because, there certainly is a cross, but there's also the great joys and the great blessings that, like St. Juan Diego, now a saint, the peasant man that Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared to. Here we are 500 years later, and the phenomenon of conversion that happened in Mexico is still maybe the greatest single conversion of a culture that's ever happened in Christianity. But it's like something like 5 million people converted. And that the power of that, you can still see in the faith of the Mexican people. I think it's all connected to recognizing and embracing our cross. In a sense, that's what Juan Diego did as well. So I think that that's important during these Advent days to remember